Saludos and welcome to El Gran Mes de los Artistas. For over a decade, this neighborhood-based community festival, presented in collaboration with the Jefferson Woodlawn Lake Community Development Corporation, highlights the immense artistic talent of the city's historic Deco district. COVID-19 has greatly impacted the work we do here at Centro Cultural Aztlán, and we have had to adapt quickly by presenting our exhibits and our content virtually. We are excited and proud to present a series of unique artists and performers highlighting film, visual arts, and music during this year's El Gran Mes de los Artistas.
So my name is Martin Emmanuel Rangel. I am a San Antonio-based artist, um, born and raised here in San Antonio, Texas. Um, I've been painting for about 11 years, um, close to 12, already at the end of 2021. And I paint with nothing but vibrant colors, as you can see here, working on a Conchita series that I started beginning of last year, 2020. Um, and so this is pretty much what I do. I do this for a living. This is my main passion is painting, and this is all I do is vibrant colors. So it's something that is not very common to see. As you can see, the conchitas are, they have, purples and, blues and reds. This is kind of in the before the mid stage of the painting, so you won't see a lot of color into it. Just mainly the natural colors of the conchitas. So my painting style is not, there's no words to really, it's kind of modern pop, post-pop modern style of work, very spontaneous. And in other words, the reason why I say spontaneous is because it's something that you wouldn't really normally see, like I was saying from the beginning. It's contemporary art. It's very bold work, nothing but color, like I said. So it's kind of a new, maybe a fresh style to especially in San Antonio, there's not a lot of artists that do this kind of work, and since it's going around like this style of work, it's turning a lot of heads. But there's no specific word, there's no specific style to put this in. I guess an area or there's no words to put it, as I guess you can say. So it's a fresh, somewhat new style of painting, but it has been around, with the colors in general, of maybe for about 5 to 10 years. It's awfully fresh. It may sound 10 years may sound like a long time, but even in San Antonio, Texas, it's not a very common style. It's very new to a lot of people. Not a lot of people have seen this kind of style of work. I paint a lot of cultural imagery, what I've grew up seeing. My parents know a lot of history, especially my dad. So the ideas backfire, not bounce off. Whenever I see my parents every week, so these ideas just come up. The subject matter comes up. I just go off of what I've learned growing up, or what I've seen growing up, and that's kind of what I come up with on the subject matter. Inspiration is everywhere. To me, it's kind of disorganized, but in a good way. I get inspiration through my culture, through family. Like I said, what I've grown up with, seen, and there's a couple of series that I work on. This one is the conchitas. I grew up eating pan dulce, drinking coffee, different brands of Mexican sodas, different brands of Mexican hot sauces. So it's a mixture of stuff like that. And so I'm doing a separate series of these ideas that I come up with, but it's mainly of my culture, of what I grew up with, seeing, again, like I said, and I do I'm very big on architecture, so I like painting a lot of historical landmarks, especially here in San Antonio, and so mainly a lot of common landmarks that even tourists come and see when they come to San Antonio, and these people come from all around parts of the world to come visit San Antonio, and it's usually the common landmarks that San Antonio has, the historical landmarks. So I paint a lot of that. I paint a lot of San Antonio historical buildings, and so that's also one of my, what inspires me to come up with these ideas, these paintings. So, and it's funny because a lot of people have asked me, what do you ever get an artist block? And I rarely don't, because it's just, I have a huge list of what I'm gonna paint, and it just, the list is so big that it can go all the way till next year, or we're at 2021 right now, so it could go all the way to 2023. But things can change, things can happen. I can change things around, and maybe but it's like I said, it's just always something from my culture, going back to that. So that's that kind of what I paint. It's very cultural work. Hispanic, Mexican inspired work. So that's pretty much what I paint as of right now. And things can change, subject matter can change, and it can be something totally different. My work straddles between abstract and realism, so it's not literally hyperrealism or photorealism. It's so I do 50-50. So I have a little abstract in my work, but as well as half of it is realism. So there is some detail into the paintings that I do, but it has a lot of excuse me, it has a lot of thick brush strokes, a lot of highlights, a lot of broad brush strokes, bold brush. I mean, it's kind of everywhere, and I remember a while back I would somebody asked me about my style of work, and I said it's a sloppy style, because I don't really worry about it's very organic, and there's lines everywhere, and it looks kind of messy, but at the end result, it's just I've learned how to mold the subject matter, and make it kind of clear and kind of a little abstract, but it's a blend into it. The paints that I use, they're acrylic paints, and they're very the paints that I use are very expensive, but they work out in the long run, through time and through investing, and we all start from the bottom, of course. We start with something, and then through time I started progressing with my work. I started getting commission work, and I started investing into these higher quality paints, and it does help me in the long run. It does make a difference in my work, and so even a lot of clients, a lot of customers that I do, I sell my artwork at art markets or events. They see how bold the colors look, and how much the subject pops from the painting. And I think it's just the quality of the paints, the strong pigmentation of the paint. So that's all I use is acrylics, and I do add a little. I add a satin, maybe glossy varnish at the end when the painting's complete, and that brings out the colors a little bit more into the painting. So. I have a few favorite paintings that I've done, and not favorite, but it's something that really inspired me and impacted my life personally. And one of them, I want to say one of them, because there's quite a few, and I want to, I could spend hours talking about these paintings, but one of them is part of my Angels Among Us show that I did back in, I believe, 2016, and it really inspired me, and it really it took my life into a whole different direction, perspective, and it's one of the paintings in the show. It's I would say it was about a 7-8 foot painting of angels descending, and all you see is their feet, as if you're looking up, and you see their feet. you see their wings, you see their hands kind of. I mean, just pretty much picture angels, above you descending. And it's a beautiful painting, very, very abstract. So I kind of pushed it more into the abstract, style, but there's a little realism in it, a little detail into it, and it was a beautiful paint. It was a beautiful painting that I did, and it inspired me. It inspired the entire show, entire series for the show, and so, and that's one of my favorite paintings that I've done, throughout the years that I've been painting. So, but yeah. I wanted to explain what the process is, and how, from, I would say, point A to point Z, the process of how the beginning stages of my painting into the end stage. So what I usually do is, this is a conchita. These are conchitas, they're pan dulce, sweetbreads. So what I mainly do is I just go off of what the colors are on the sweetbreads, and then I start applying colors that you wouldn't even see on the sweetbreads. So the first stage is just applying the natural, the real color, on the conchas, and then that's kind of my first session. When I'm working on a painting is just kind of applying that first, and then that's the first and second session, and so the mid section all the way to the end is when I start applying, as you can see, these other colors. So right here you see blue. I was applying like a light aqua here, and so it's pretty much the mid to the end part of the painting, and so that's pretty much what the process is. But right at the end, I do start applying a little bit more color, more highlights, and as well as shadow, just to balance out the subject matter. The background is usually also balanced out to make the painting stand out more. But this series that I'm working on, basically it's the same image. As you can see, I have one here at the bottom. It's another painting. It's the same thing, but it's a red background. So this series is a little different. My work is, I do notice through time my work has been evolving. Same thing, same colors, but it's the background. I noticed that it's been changing, and I've been changing it up just so that the subject can stand out more, and you won't be so distracted by the background colors. So this series is just, each painting is going to be a different background color with the same image, as you can see. I go based off of photo. I use photos to guide me to work, to see where I'm going. It's my guide. As you can see here, this is actually the first number one Conchita painting. So this is number three Conchita painting. So it just, I go off a photo to guide me where I'm going, so that's basically my thing is everything, all the paintings I do is based off photo or based off of references, and I use my phone. It's funny how I say use my phone. Before I used to print out hard copies of the actual image and I'll put it on the easel and go back and forth with it, but now the technology has grown, has evolved, and everything's all really 4K and high definition, so it helps me a little bit better. So now I just use my phone to guide me with the photos that I use to, for the painting.
This concludes our video presentation. Thank you for watching. For additional information on Centro Cultural Aztlán and upcoming events, please visit our website at www.centroaztlan.org or look us up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, if you missed some of our previous video presentations, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can contact us directly by phone at 210-432-1896. Muchas gracias.